All right, everybody, welcome back. Good afternoon. It is still Victory Monday around here. We're still feeling pretty good. And now we've got some Pro Football Focus grades to take a look at. We're going to start with the offense, as we pretty much always do. Just want to get a feel for what Pro Football Focus thinks of our players, who they think performed the best, see if there's any big discrepancies with who we think performed the best, get down into the nitty-gritty of the grades, and of course the objective stats, which are often much more useful than the grading. But yeah, I mean, the offense, I think we know. I think we know who the top guys are going to be. After a game like that, Zach Charbonnet, who else was it going to be? 90.7, probably the best grade he's ever had in his career. Mostly powered by his run game abilities, of course, but pass blocking was very good too. So, cool stuff here. And that is a well-deserved first place. And then second place, we go to AJ Barner naturally. All right, guys, let's take a minute so I can tell you about Sleeper, a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat on sports games in real time with other users. You can get the fastest scores, blazing fast sports news and sports alerts right at your fingertips. And of course, you can use Sleeper to play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. This is the way sports were meant to be enjoyed together. So download Sleeper today. Use promo code SBN to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. And you can pair that with another promo they have right now where you can get a $20 entry free with no deposit required. So get both of those things going. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and growing. So check out Sleeper today. Get to it and go have some fun with sports this year. So yeah, AJ Barner, 82 by far your second place Seahawk offensive player. 3 catches, converted a first down every time he caught the ball, touchdown. Pretty standard stuff, but very effective. Then you got JSN, pretty strong as well. Not one of his better games, but effective, fine, did his thing. Jalen Sundell. There were a couple people after that game yesterday who noted that it felt like Jalen Sundell was our best offensive lineman, and PFF agrees. Abe Lucas was right behind him, though. Pretty good grade here. 68.5 works. Ray Zabel. So here's a difficult one to figure out. I don't think Gray Zabel played well yesterday at all. In fact, I thought it was much worse than the games that PFF has typically given him like a 50 for. And yet here we are. They're giving Zabel a pretty good score. So I don't really know what to say about that. To me, it seemed relatively obvious that Gray Zabel was struggling out there, especially in run blocking, but they didn't see it that way. Robbie Oots, only 14 snaps, so kind of whatever, but actually one of his best graded games of the year. Nick Collar up, 7 snaps, doesn't really mean anything. Josh Jones, adequate, kind of what I expected from him. Serviceable, but still not the standard that we want with a left tackle. Jake Bobo, anonymous again. Run blocking score was actually good, which is nice because he hasn't been a up to standard run blocker in recent games. So 77 is actually really encouraging. I don't know if it makes up for the rest of it, but at least he's doing something out there. Sawbert, relatively anonymous again, 57.8, whatever. He's never going to be a great pass catching tight end anyway, so that's not what he's here for. He's here to block, and they gave him some pretty decent run blocking grades overall. Sam Darnold, though, 3 penalties, which is you don't see that very often, and it's really hard to have a good grade when you have that many penalties. But yeah, not it wasn't a good game for Darnold, so I'd say that's a pretty well-deserved bad grade. Shaheed barely played, so whatever. And now we start getting down into the guys that were actually kind of bad for Seattle. You got Anthony Bradford, which honestly, I didn't notice that much from him in this game other than like maybe one bad play. I thought he had some nice highlights. I'm surprised they have this as one of his worst games, although there have been worse. I would have definitely picked out some other games where I thought he stood out more negatively. Cooper Kupp, no brainer there. Derek Young, pretty far down, only 11 snaps, but not good. And K9, yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you fumble without getting touched, I guess. Game started out pretty good for him too, but he's it's a roller coaster, man, with this guy. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Hard for him to maintain consistency, but that's it. We only had 17 players take snaps for Seattle this week. And overall, I think it paints a pretty reasonable picture of an offense that was okay, but not great. 27 points, decent number of yards, but they never really got the passing attack going. It more or less lines up. So I'd say that's a pretty reasonable arrangement of grading. Now let's dig deeper into some of the precise numbers here. Sam Darnold passing grade sheet. I only really like to look at the big time throws and the turnover worthy plays here. So he had one big time throw, whatever, and one turnover worthy play, which he had 2 turnovers. So I don't know which play they think was not turnover worthy. He had the fumble and he had the pick. I'm guessing they think the fumble was not turnover worthy, but I don't know. But one of them they think was not turnover worthy. So that's kind of interesting, right? I'd be interested to know which one for sure, but I'm guessing it's the fumble, but who knows? The passing chart is honestly kind of depressing. Nothing downfield except the interception. He threw one pass more than 20 yards down the field. It got picked. Threw like 5 passes, 3 completions, intermediate, and everything else was just dink and dunk, which I'm okay with that. But if I'm going to play like that, I can't have turnovers, right? If you're going to turn it over, I need you to be pushing it down the field a little bit so I'm getting some of the benefit of the risking. If you're not risking it, then why am I still losing the ball multiple times a game? So that is something that may not hold very well in the postseason. And I sure hope that something gives. Either the big plays come back or the turnovers basically go away. Like, Seattle has adopted a brand new offense in the last several weeks where they've been very conservative, trying to keep things close to the line of scrimmage, short passes, quick passes, and they're still turning it over. So something's got to give there. That to me is not very sustainable, and that is the one thing I'm really concerned about right now. Receiving grade page, again, there's really only one thing I like to look at here, how often each player was lined up in the slot, and kind of back to normal this week. Cooper Kupp, almost half of his snaps were in the slot. JSN barely plays in the slot anymore. You can see that he is basically a full-time outside guy, as he has been all year. And this kind of goes back to the Cooper Kupp conversation, where if we're giving him only a handful of plays a game, we throw him the ball 3-4 times a game, and he gets a lot of his snaps in the slot, which is the place you want to be as a receiver. That's like easy mode for a receiver. I need him to not be making mistakes. I need him to not fumble. I need him to not drop passes. Like, I'm sorry, but I need a little bit more from Kupp. I'm not asking for that much. I'm not asking for anything unreasonable. I know he's kind of washed up. I know he's old, but I need something more than one catch. It was a nice catch. It was a third down catch. It converted a third down, but 2 drops and then the fumble the previous week. I just need you to be stable, man. I need you to be stable. I need you to be dependable, and right now he's not. All right, so that's it for that. And again, I like to look at this page, but the only thing I really like to see is how JSN is getting matched up against different players. The player that he was matched up against the most on his targets was Mike Jackson, of course. Mike Jackson actually didn't do too bad of a job. J.C. Horn, 3 for 3, 27 yards, pretty good for JSN, but he did get some matchups on other players too. Roseboom linebacker, Morig and Scott safeties. Like to see that. Definitely like that. So definitely encouraged there. Hope to see more of that as we go forward. Get JSN matched up on linebackers and safeties, and good things are going to happen. Rushing by direction. Definitely a mixed bag here. Like, you had that end around play to Ken Walker. Didn't even come close to working. Disaster. Terrible. And then you also had off left tackle, which is between the tight end and Jones, not good. Middle left between Zabel and Sundell, not good. Middle right, not good. But then you had left end, which was very juicy, 54 yards on 6 attempts. Left guard, 29 yards, 5 attempts, also quite good. You had right guard, pretty good, although only a few attempts. Right end, we actually got some really good things going, running to the outside the tight end, outside the box. That's the Kubiak rushing attack he wants to have. And in this game, it worked really well. Now, Carolina's run defense is not very good. I don't know if this is replicable, but it does indicate positive things to me. And I'm starting to feel like if we can maintain a run game like this, it's worth it to not have the big plays. This was a big play offense that couldn't really run the ball effectively earlier in the season all that much. It's starting to get better. And I will make that trade. I'm cool with that trade because it's probably better for January and February football. Maybe not February because usually they put the Super Bowl in a good weather place, but I think you guys get what I'm saying. Okay, so that's it for the rushing direction. Pass blocking. Pass blocking, pretty darn straightforward. Robbie Oots clean, Jalen Sundell clean. Charbonnet only got one pass blocking rep, but it was clean, I guess. Zabel, this is part of the reason why he probably got a good grade. As much as I didn't think he was great as a run blocker in this game, no dings whatsoever in pass protection. 70.7, no pressures allowed. So really good there. Abe Lucas was kind of your, I don't know, he was the guy who was seemingly struggling the most, allowed 1 sack and 4 total pressures. Still got graded okay, for whatever that's worth. Still actually got a decent grade, but 4 pressures allowed in a game is not good, especially against this Panthers pass rush, which is not good either. A.J. Barner did not get a very good grade, even though he was clean statistically, so something went beyond the stats, I guess. Josh Jones, a sack allowed, 2 hurries allowed, 3 total pressures. I mean, I'm not saying that Charles Cross would never do something like that, but it's certainly not very good. Anthony Bradford allowed a QB hit. And the big L for the day in pass protection was K9, 3 reps, allowed 1 hurry. This is going to be an issue that Seattle has the rest of the way. I don't know what they do about it. Seems like they don't trust Charbonnet or Walker in pass protection anymore. Charbonnet used to have it. Now it seems like he doesn't. Walker never really had it. But it doesn't seem like either of those guys can reliably pass protect. And that is something that can come back and hurt us as we move through the season. But overall, not bad. Like 9 pressures allowed total by protection is actually really good. Run blocking, again, I'm not really that interested in the grading because I find the grading of run blocking to be kind of unhelpful. But I like to see zone versus gap, and you can see significantly more zone than gap, but still a decent amount of gap. So, again, it fits in with the way this offensive line is built and the way this team is built to play, so makes perfect sense to me. All right, so that's it for the offense this week. Pass blocking, I'm sorry, PFF, offensive grading, and objective stats. I mean, it's pretty good. It's pretty reasonable for a team that did struggle in the first half, but really got it together in the second half. All right, I will see you guys later today. There's going to be at least one more video, maybe more. Should be streaming on Twitch later tonight. I know we got a game tonight. We'll see if it's good or not. Go Hawks, and enjoy your Victory Monday, man.